Alright, back again, joined with Mike McDonald and Stephen Fawcett ahead of tonight's game. Richmond at home. Mike, things to build on from the last game. 3-3 draw down here against Hartlepool a week ago. What do we need to do tonight to overturn that result and get some 3 points on the board?
Well, a bit more of the same. We had a few errors that night that kind of cost us, so obviously we'll be looking to cut them out. And just really more of the same, really. The miles in the legs, the hard work was there. We were very physical. We've done a lot of the, nasty stuff that you don't see, the stuff that you have to do to win games, but also at times we had the quality as well. Some of the finishes, some of the passing was good. So a bit more of the same, just looking for levels, that we set the bar there and then we want to push on from there. Obviously Hartlepool have went on, had another good result on Saturday, so it shows you where Hartlepool are. Bit of a benchmark for us there to not to low from, so a bit more of the same, yeah.
Yeah, so we played Richmond the last game of the back end of last season, Stephen, if you remember rightly. It was a 3-1 win away from home. What do you expect coming into today's game? Obviously, knowing you've played Richmond quite a few times now, what do you expect from them?
Yeah, I think we've never had an easy game against Richmond. I mean, you can probably say that for most teams in this league, to be fair. And that their home form sort of, was always rock solid. They've moved to a different pitch now, which is changing. I think certainly we felt changing the way that they went about the game when we got the win at their place. But to be fair to them, whenever they've came here, we've always had a real challenge in our hands. If I remember right, we played them at home last season and they brought 12 men and they were 1-0 up. We scored, I think, in like the 87th minute, something like that.
Remember rightly.
It was really late on to get a 1-1. And I expect it to be the same tonight, to be honest. I don't know, what travelling midweek does for their numbers. We always have slight issues with that because of work and all the rest of it, but it doesn't really matter. If they got off the bus with 11, I'd be expecting a tough game. Do you know what I mean? I think that quite a lot of signings in the pre-season, so they've obviously had a boost, that way as well. Just expecting a tough game as always, really.
Yeah. Mike, building on from the last one, does the game plan change at all?
No. We try not to change that. We've got a certain way we like to play, a certain way we like to press. But that doesn't mean to say that if we don't think that's working, we'll change it. And there's times where we've had this conversation where sometimes we should have changed it earlier. We should have maybe acted on it earlier, and we've been a bit stubborn not to change. And I think that's some of that work. Me, Steve, are learning in this league. Sometimes you can't just sit on your hands and wait for things to happen. But certainly, there's a bit of a, like Stephen said, a bit of an unknown quantity. So, they've signed a few lads. So until the season gets 10, 12 games under the belt, and then we can start seeing similar patterns. We've got to expect we've got to go out and do our job and try and impose ourselves on them. And hopefully they need to adapt to us and not the other way on.
Yeah, absolutely. If I remember rightly, back in the interview we did after the game last season, Stephen, you spoke about how proud of you were of the individuals and also the team effort that the lads put in, not just through that game but throughout the entire season. In the first 6 games now in pre-season, has that been matched or exceeded?
I think it's absolutely been matched. I've said a couple of times already this season, it's a slightly different challenge for me and Mike this season. Last year we had high 20s in terms of numbers of lads signed on. This year it's around the 20 mark, and that's difficult when you've got different lads working shift patterns and obviously everybody's holidays, kids, families, just general stuff that you've got going on. So we're asking the lads to sort of be available as much as they can and to be more organised with that, because we have to be careful making sure that we can get the right numbers every week. There's been times already this season where we're going with 3 on the bench, and that isn't ideal because having 5 on the bench is massive in terms of being able to impact the game. But what I will say is whichever 14, 15, 16 we have out, we'll back ourselves generally, and the quality that we've got in the numbers that we've got is superb. it's just, like I say, we have to be really careful, really organised with making sure that people can be available when when we need them. But yeah, so far, loads of credit to the lads, but let's not carry over. We're only 6 games in. What we have got is a really good platform to build on, and we need to keep doing more of the same, like Mike says.
Absolutely. Best luck for tonight, gentlemen.
Cheers, man.
We're joined with Dave Fox and Ross Leeson at tonight's game. We're at Richmond at home tonight, on a Wednesday night. So we'll start with Ross. Ross, what motivates you most for this game? And, like, do you have any superstitions, or is it something the gaffers say before the game?
No, it's recent results. A loss motivates you because you want to do better. And then the wins, you want the 3 points, and it's a good effort from the boys. There's effort going on around the pitch, on and off the pitch. And that's the motivation, what drives you and wants you to strive to be better in the league. Push for top 4 at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that has a big effect on everyone in the squad around the club as well. Dane, speaking of the atmosphere around the club, what is it like being this atmosphere now, being in and around the club, especially after such a good start of the season, as Ross mentioned?
It's good, yeah. I'm missing quite a lot last year, and obviously seeing the lads getting the results, it was hard to take. So being part of that again has been fantastic. I think looking at the squad, it's probably one of the best we've had. And as long as we get the players that's turned up week in, week out, I think we'll do really well this season. And hopefully we'll get another 3 points tonight.
Yeah, all the best for tonight, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Alright, joined with Mike and Stephen after the match today. 2-0 victory over Richmond Town. Mike, do you want to sum that one up for us?
It was topsy-turvy, upside down. I don't think we played particularly well. We got loads of heart, loads of grit when we needed it. I think Richmond deserve a rap because they're a very good side. I don't think their results have shown it. I don't know if they've got lads in recently, I don't know, but they're a very good side. They're gonna take a lot of points off teams, and that's off to them. But the lads, just when we needed a body on the line, a hook, get us a throw in, get us up the field. We got that tonight. Wasn't pretty in any way, shape or form. We were second best a lot of the times, and we've got lots of improvement to make. Like I said, fair play to Richmond coming over here. God knows what time they'll get back tonight. It's a big ask for them, and they fetched it. They didn't come over and just make the numbers up, put it that way, and get the bellies tickled to come and give us a real game of football.
Yeah, Steve, if we could just elaborate on one player's performance tonight, Matthew Metcalf, absolute workhorse in centre midfield. I'd love to see the stats of it on the player data afterwards. What kind of things does a player like Matt Metcalf bring to the side?
Well, there's a reason Matt, shares the captaincy with Rich, because he sets the standard in terms of what we ask for from commitment. As I said before the game about needing lads to be here, regularly, and Matt's, certainly the first with his hand up. He rarely misses. But yeah, on the field, he runs himself into the ground. The last 2 games, we've asked him to kind of partway through the game go and do a slightly different role. And he gets on and goes and does it. He presses really well from the front, and again tonight he did that for us. Brought him off with just a few minutes to go, just because purely he'd ran that far that we just felt that he needed a switch up. But yeah, Matt's done really well. He's a real quality player for us.
Yeah, Mike, we're taking a break from league action on Saturday. We enter the Monk Weymouth Cup. We're at home again. We play Wolverhampton. We've already played them once this time of the season. What are you expecting?
Well, it'll be another tough game. Wolverhampton are a good side. They can score goals. They're very capable going forward. So we have to be defensively very good. It's a cup. Obviously, we might make some decisions. I don't know which way we're going to go with lineups and things like that. But we're definitely going and treating it with the utmost respect, and we'll be treating Wolverhampton the same. We're well capable of going on a run in the cup. Wolverhampton will probably, if you didn't play them first round, you maybe end up playing them semi-finals, finals, things like that. So you've got to beat them sometime. So yeah, we'll be open, that we can make our own advantage count. but we need to make some improvements if we're going to, you know, be really confident of getting the job done on Saturday, because today just weren't good enough quality wise for me, so we need to be better that way.
Stephen, Mike saying that they weren't good enough, the quality wasn't there, and you seem to nod your head in agreement. Did the players not stick to the game plan that was put out?
I don't think it was about not sticking to the game plan. I think like Mike said, loads of credit to Richmond, to be honest. I don't remember us winning many headers. I think they won every first ball, and when you're not winning the first balls, all you can ask is that you're positioned right and you're on the front foot to pick up the seconds, but we didn't do that either. Thought their movement was very good. Thought there was, you know, spine of the team was very good. They had a really strong centre half, winning everything at the back. A really busy lad in midfield, and then up top, a lad that looked really tricky, quite slight in build, but you know, causes all sorts of problems with his movement and his strength. You know, which wasn't something that looking at him before the game that you necessarily think he was going to bring to it. So I don't think it was about us not sticking to our game plan. I think going forward we kind of did, and we hurt them with that. It was more in the other phases of the game, you know, and about the basics. And I think if you went round individually and said, "Did you win your battle tonight?" Probably the answer is no. You know, more often than it is yes. But with our quality up front, you know, we can beat any side. But we've definitely rode our luck tonight. If I was in, you know, the Richmond dugout, I'd be saying a point would have been a fair result. And you know, it'd be really harsh to say anything other than that, to be fair.
Yeah. Best of luck for the weekend then, gentlemen.
Cheers, mate.